What's up, everybody? OT for Tech here, and today I want to talk to you about this little guy right here. This is the Gear 2, not to be mistaken for the Gear 2 Neo or the Gear Fit. This is not the Galaxy Gear either. The Galaxy Gear was the original smartwatch Samsung made to pair with the Galaxy S4 or the Note 3. The difference is this is running Tizen. It's no longer running the Android platform. Did they do a good job? We'll find out in the video. I touched base on it a little bit. If you guys want to see a review on the Gear Fit or the Gear 2 Neo, let me know in the comment section. And let me know what you thought of this video. I just wanted to give a formal introduction of this review. The Galaxy S5, as I stated in my full review of it, has been one of my favorite devices to use this far. And this is the primary reason for that. This little guy right here, its little counterpart. Without this, the Galaxy S5 is probably a subpar phone. It's okay. It's a good phone, especially for those that love TouchWiz. It's a great phone. But if you pair it with this, you have ultimate productivity. You have things that you can do on your wrist that you can only do on a phone, and it's absolutely amazing. You get a lot of the phone functions with the watch, and it's very convenient. So this is not a short video. It's going to be a little bit long, roughly 15-17 minutes. So if you guys got the time, grab something to eat, get yourself something good to drink. If you're at work, take a small short break and enjoy the clip. Thank you guys. The Gear 2 features a very premium design. Its construction consists of even metal. It has a 1.63-inch Super AMOLED display with a 277 ppi ratio. Its internals consist of a 1 GHz dual-core processor with a half a gigabyte of RAM and 4 GB of onboard storage. You can pick one up for about $299 at Best Buy, the Samsung website, or of course you can get it on Amazon.com. It has a built-in home button, which is a polished chrome accent finish. At the top of the watch face, you can see the 2-megapixel camera. We'll get more into the details and the settings later on, along with the performance of this camera. On one side, you can see it has a little snap-in clip, which is actually meant for the cradle charger, as well as a speaker. On the opposite side, you have a microphone with another clip for the cradle charger. Flipping the watch over, you can actually see the connector where the charger connects and charges the watch, and you also have the heart rate monitor on the bottom here. There's a metallic clasp that locks the watch together, and it's also made of a silicone style band. It gives off a carbon fiber type feel, and it's going to be able to be customizable later on in the year. You're going to be able to swap out this band for any color band that you would like. It fits good on the wrist once you adjust it to the proper size, and I have to say, I was very worried about how big this watch was going to be, but once it's on the wrist, it's not very big at all. Here's a quick look at it compared to the Pebble Steel, and as you can see, it is bigger than the Pebble Steel, but it's not too big. It's very comfortable on my wrist, and I have very skinny wrists. As you can see with the two compared next to each other, the Pebble Steel is actually a little bit more classier looking, while the Gear 2 looks a bit more sporty. And this makes sense considering the Gear 2 has a heart rate monitor and the fact that it syncs with the S5 or the S4 or the Note 3, allowing it for more S-Health functionality. And as a quick look behind and around the band and comparison between the two, you can see the differences between the silicone band and the steel band of the Pebble Steel. To adjust the band on the Gear 2, just look underneath the watch clasp itself. You can see the notches and you'll see like a little bulb going into one of the notches. Just undo the bulb, slide the watch into the notch that you want, replace the bulb back into the notch, and just clip it into place. And you're ready to snap it on your wrist. It's very simple, and if you need instructions, they do include instructions in the packaging inside the box. I won't be doing an unboxing because I've already done it. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave the link in the description below. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the software. Now you're going to need to download the Gear Manager app on your S or Galaxy device. And of course, you'll need to link it through Bluetooth. It's very easy and it's a very straightforward process. If you've ever used a Bluetooth headset, it's the same type of function. So go ahead and open up the Gear Manager and you can see you have the home screen styler option, which basically lets you customize the wallpaper, and you can even upload a picture that might be on your phone to your watch to give it more of a unique or customizable experience. You also see the S-Health app feature. Now you're just going to click on this and it will automatically launch the S-Health app on your Galaxy device. And basically this is going to let you sync all the data that you might have on the Gear 2 with the S5, and this includes the pedometer and the heart rate statistics. Once launched, you can see it has the pedometer transfer interval as well as the transfer now option. When you launch the My Apps section, it's going to give you a detailed display of all the apps that are currently on your Gear 2. And now you're also going to have access to the settings for these apps, such as the default Messenger app. I changed mine to Hangouts, but keep in mind, if you are not using the stock Messenger app, you will not be able to respond to your text messages through using your watch. Going forward, you can see there is a Samsung app section. This is the App Store, and as I stated previously, this is running Tizen, so you're not going to be able to download the Android apps. You're going to have to use the Samsung apps. There's not a lot of apps in the App Store, but there's enough to get you by to give you a feel for Tizen. Now, the apps function pretty well. There is some games even that you can download, such as a game that's similar to Flappy Bird, except it's with a fish. There's some health apps, such as ones about push-ups, and some like a pedometer app and things like that. There's some productivity apps, and there's just your straight entertainment apps. Now, I'm not sure how many apps there are altogether, but I know there's not that many, so don't expect this huge app store to be ready and at your fingertips. Another cool feature is the Find My Gear setting inside the Gear Manager. If you happen to lose your watch and you don't know where it's at, just click on that and it's going to send a signal to the watch getting off a sound. Once you pick up the gear or you swipe the button, it's going to shut it off. Go ahead and launch the settings part of the Gear Manager. Inside here, you're going to find like options such as backup and restore, the wake up gesture, the auto lock feature, as well as the double press of the home button on the watch. Now you can activate the camera with the double press of the home button. You can activate your most recent apps. There's just different things that you can do. Here's a quick demonstration of what it's like scrolling through the different pages on the watch. It's just like scrolling through home pages or your layout on Android. It's very, very similar. You have your different apps such as Watch On, S-Voice, Find My Device, and Voice Memo. The Find My Device feature is actually pretty cool. Let's go ahead and launch it up. And what it does is the same thing with the Find My Gear, except it's going to find your device. So it's going to send a signal to your phone, letting off a sound. Once you find your phone through the sound that it's making, just go ahead and swipe the little X, and that's going to turn it off. It's a very nice and useful feature. Now, one other cool thing is the fact that you can actually switch around your home screens. Just hold down the screen that you want to move and you can move it in the location that you want to. So you can move your layout and adjust it to your type of setting or to make it more customizable for you. Let's go ahead and launch the settings on the watch. As you can see here, you have access to the clock, which gives you access to changing your clock face itself. You can pick one that has the camera, the settings, and the pedometer on it. You can pick one that has the weather on it. You can just pick a straight watch face, and you can also change the background to different colors, which is your wallpapers. You have access to your sound notifications. Now, you cannot have sound and vibration in the same setting. You can either choose sound, vibration, or no sound, and that's all. A lot of the same settings are on the watch that you found on the Gear Manager, so it's kind of a repetitive thing. But again, you can have access to the double press of the home button on what it launches. On my specific watch, I have it launching the most recent apps, and you can clear all just like you can on Android. Scrolling all the way down to the bottom, you have your gear info. If you click on that, you can activate USB debugging, and it also gives you your basic information when you click on About Gear. Some stuff that would be the same things that you find under the About section on your phone. Now you can link a pair of Bluetooth headphones to this watch, and it gives you access to your media controls, so you can skip through songs, you can pause or play a song, and you'll actually either hear it through the speaker built into the watch or the Bluetooth headset. Now it has 4 gigabytes of storage, so you can actually store music or media directly onto the watch. The pedometer is pretty much straightforward. You launch the app, hit start, and it will start counting your footsteps. Watch On turns your watch into a remote control, not only for your TV or your satellite box, but it will also control your air conditioner. It takes a little bit to set up, but once you get it set up, it works fairly well. It does have a numeric keypad on it, so you can actually input a channel instead of having to scroll up and down, but there's no enter button, so I'm not sure why they didn't put an enter button on there. You can also do voice memos on the fly using your watch, and you have access to S-Voice. The S-Voice on the watch is not, fully featured packed like it is on the Galaxy devices, but you can do the most simple tasks such as sending a text message, placing a phone call, looking up the weather. You can look up the gallery because you can launch apps with S-Voice. It's a pretty nifty little feature, especially for being on a watch. The control section on the watch is going to control your media controls for one. You're also going to be able to control your brightness and your volume, so you're going to be able to adjust it through the control app on the watch. Now, as I said, the home button features for a lot of different things. If you hold it down, it's going to load up another menu. On this menu, you're going to have the power off feature. You're going to have the restart feature. setting the vibration, sound, or silent mode on, off, or whatever you want, and you have the outdoor mode. The outdoor mode is going to increase your brightness to max brightness for a maximum of 5 minutes to improve visibility when you're outdoors. The heart rate monitor is very similar to the pedometer. As long as the watch is on your wrist correctly, and you launch the app and you hit the start button, it'll measure your heart rate. I found it to be pretty accurate for the most part, but when I'm actually working out and I'm covered in sweat, it never wants to read my heart rate. The sweat always interferes with the sensor. Of course, you can receive notifications on the watch, otherwise it wouldn't be a smartwatch. You can get your texts, your emails, your third-party app notifications. There's only a few that you can respond to, and those are using the factory apps only. And here's a quick example on how you respond. You respond using S-Voice, and you can also respond using templates. In this particular example, we're using S-Voice, and I sent myself a text message, and now I'm responding, and it gives you a quick rundown or a quick overview of what your message is going to look like. It asks you if you were ready to send it, and you just say yes or no, and then it sends it on its way. It's not the fastest process because, as you can see here, it takes quite a bit of time for it to send, but it gets the job done if you're in a rush or your hands are full. When receiving a call on your watch, it's going to give you the options that are exactly on your phone. You can either swipe to the right to answer or swipe to the left to decline. If you swipe to the right, it's going to activate the call, and you will be able to actually talk to the person on the other end of the line using this built-in speakerphone on the watch. In the top right corner, you have a menu. If you click on that, it's going to give you options such as muting the phone call. You can send the call back to your handset, and you can also pull up the dialer. Swiping down will bring you back to the previous page, and then you can just hang up. Before taking you back to the home screen, it gives you the option to either go to your call log or to call that person back. So let's just say you didn't want to answer that phone call, or you don't want to answer the next phone call. When you're receiving the next phone call, instead of swiping to the left or using the green phone, swipe to the right using the red phone, and then it's going to bring up some options or some templates that you can choose from to text message that person to let them know why you didn't answer their call. Now, a smartwatch wouldn't be a smartwatch if you couldn't place a phone call, so you can also place phone calls from your watch. It's going to use the antenna or the reception through your device to make sure you have reception on your phone, and you can launch the dialer on your watch, type in the number, or go to your contacts and pick a contact and actually place a phone call. Now, let me just remind you one more time that if it's a private phone call and you don't want other people hearing, then I suggest either A, use your handset, or B, invest in a Bluetooth. Overall, call quality was excellent. It's your typical speakerphone quality, but the person on the opposite end of the line never had any complaints on whether or not they were on a speakerphone. It didn't sound staticky, I didn't sound echoey. In fact, they could not tell that I was talking to them using a watch. And I placed several phone calls and answered several phone calls, and nobody could know the difference between this and the normal speakerphone on my handset. So good job Samsung on that. They actually perfected that because there's a lot of things that could have gone wrong. Now, I will say people will give you strange looks while you're talking to your wrist like James Bond when you're either answering a phone call or just making a phone call. It's kind of awkward. But there's some other awkward things about this particular watch, but we'll get more into those in just a moment. Now, the camera itself has a lot of different features. So if you go ahead and launch the camera app, you're going to be greeted with a small little display of the camera itself. If you open up the settings part of the camera app, you're going to have your focus mode, so you can select it to auto or macro. You can select the photo size, which is 1920 by 1080, 1080 by 1080, and 1280 by 960. And you can also select a sound and shot. So it's going to take a picture and record whatever noise is going on in that area or in that split second for 9 seconds. Scrolling down, you can also turn location tags off, and you have voice control. Voice control will allow you to take a picture by simply saying cheese or snap. I don't remember all of the phrases, but just voice control phrases. They're very, very similar to the ones found on the Galaxy devices. To take a picture, you just tap the screen and it'll actually snap a shot. Here's a quick example of the sound and shot. As you can see, I took a picture and now it's recording 9 seconds of audio, and it will combine the two for a multimedia picture. If you take a look in the top left corner, you can see a little camera. If you click on that, it's going to launch the camcorder or the video capture. You can actually record video with this smartwatch, so it's heaven for all perverts.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
You can select video size 1280 by 720 and 640 by 640. You can also change location tags on and off, and you have voice control settings as well for video. Remember when I said it was awkward placing a phone call? Well, imagine taking a picture. You look like a creep. I went ahead and took some sample pictures, and as you can see here through the images, it had a hard time focusing a lot of the times, even when in macro mode. The white balance also is very, very bad. I mean, you can see it's completely blown out. It's very pixelated due to the low megapixel count, so there's gonna be a lot of noise. Video quality 720p. It doesn't have image stabilization, so it can get shaky. It does record audio, as you hear here, and for the most part, I was very surprised at the quality that a camera on a watch offers. Colors were very muted, almost kind of dead, but again, you're not going to be taking portrait photos with the camera on your watch. It's just going to be basically for fun. So with the battery, I've gotten 3, sometimes 4 days out of one single charge. At night, if you turn off your watch instead of leaving it on, you'll actually get a lot of use out of it. So I have no complaints when it comes to battery life whatsoever. To charge the smartwatch, all you're going to want to do is take the cradle itself, make sure it lines up with the little connector on the back of the watch, and just snap the cradle into place. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. Another easy way is to make sure that the Samsung logo on the back of the cradle is actually legible and it's read the right way. Once that is connected, you can plug in the micro USB port into the cradle and the watch will begin charging. I don't really like this. I'm not sure why they couldn't just put a USB port or a micro USB port built into the watch. I'm not sure why they have to have a cradle. Now the watch is also IP67 certified, so it is water and dust resistant, so it's going to give you some waterproof protection. So if you work in the healthcare field or you just wash your hands a lot throughout the day, have no worries and no fear. You're going to be able to completely wash your hands, get this thing splashed wet, take a shower with it. You can even go swimming with it if you want to. I wouldn't recommend it because it's only supposed to be submerged for 30 minutes, but as you can see here, I put it in water. It was only for like a minute or two, but it's still fully functional and I had no problems at all. In fact, here's a quick Twitter notification that I got. So as you can see, it's fully functional and there's no issues after dunking it in water. The Gear 2 has found a special place in my heart. Honestly, I don't know where I would be without it or how I got by so long without having a smartwatch. It's absolutely incredible for conferences and meetings or just to play around on because you're trying to kill time. I really, really appreciate that Samsung made this so intuitive and they should meet your productivity needs. It's just amazing how well they complement each other. I highly recommend it. If you have a Galaxy device, make sure you get one of these because it will change your world and it will change your experience with TouchWiz. This is OT for Tech. I hope you liked this video. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment in the section below, follow me on Twitter, on Google+, and now on Instagram. And of course, as always guys, I thank you for watching and all of your support.